In Greenland, cameras have captured creatures that break every rule we think we know about life. Sharks that were already swimming when the Roman Empire fell. Some estimated to be over 500 years old. A sea unicorn whose spiraled tusk isn't a weapon at all, but a hypersensitive tooth packed with millions of nerve endings, able to read the ocean. Let's uncover the most terrifying creatures ever in Greenland. In 2016, a landmark scientific study published in Science revealed that the Greenland shark Somniosus microcephalus holds the record for the longest-lived vertebrate species known to date. Because Greenland sharks lack calcified structures like bones or otoliths that are typically used to age fish, researchers turned to an unconventional method, radiocarbon dating of the metabolically inert eyelen's nucleus. By analyzing eyelen's material from 28 female sharks inadvertently caught as bycatch, scientists determined that the species has a minimum lifespan of at least 2072 years. One of the largest individuals in the study, measuring over 5 meters in length, was estimated to be about 512 years old. Greenland sharks inhabit the deep, icy waters of Greenland in the North Atlantic, where they move extremely slowly, maintain remarkably low metabolisms, and grow at an almost imperceptible rate. The same data indicated that Greenland sharks likely do not reach sexual maturity until around 150 to 156 years of age, far longer than most other vertebrates. These findings established Greenland sharks as the longest-lived vertebrates ever studied, a discovery with significant implications for understanding shark biology, aging, and conservation, given their slow growth, late maturity, and vulnerability to environmental pressures. The narwhal, frequently referred to as the sea unicorn, lives mainly in the seas surrounding Greenland, where ice blankets the ocean for most of the year, and its long, spiraled tusk appears as though it were drawn directly from folklore. What makes this feature remarkable is that it is not a horn, but a tooth that grows through the skull and contains millions of nerve endings, forming an extremely sensitive biological sensor capable of detecting changes in temperature, pressure, and salinity. Much of a narwhal's life unfolds beneath thick ice, far from human view, as these animals can dive deeper than 5,000 feet, swim for long periods in complete darkness, and surface accurately at narrow breathing holes. Inuit accounts often suggest that narwhals navigate the complex underside of the ice with remarkable precision. Observations of tusk wear and behavior have led researchers to propose that the tusk may serve not only as a sensory organ, but also as a way to interact with the environment. Although narwhals are neither aggressive nor a threat to humans, their existence beneath Greenland's ice highlights a realization that some animals are so unusual that it took centuries for humanity to recognize that what once sounded like legend was simply science understood later. Have you ever heard of this creature before? Please share your story with us. But not everything caught on camera can be explained so cleanly. Some footage leaves scientists silent and viewers deeply unsettled. Known as Mermaid 3,000 foot deep, the video is said to have been recorded by a deep-sea camera system off Greenland's coast at an estimated depth of 3,000 feet, a zone where light is nearly absent and human observation is extremely limited. Initially, the footage appears uneventful, showing a dark seafloor, murky water, and unmoving rocks. However, after several moments, an unusual shape slowly emerges along the edge of the frame. The figure possesses a long body and moves in a slow, deliberate manner, unlike familiar deep-sea animals such as whales or giant squid. The most discussed moment occurs when a webbed hand extends forward and gently touches the camera lens, a motion that suggests curiosity rather than hostility. Soon after, the image shakes slightly, the signal briefly distorts, and the figure fades back into the darkness. Later investigations confirmed that the footage was linked to mock documentary projects intended to appear realistic rather than provide scientific proof. Despite these explanations, the video remains highly controversial. When studying Greenland's waters, an unsettling reality becomes apparent. In many regions beneath the ice, darkness is permanent, with no separation between day and night. Within this lightless environment exists a creature adapted to turn darkness into an advantage, the anglerfish. Rather than expending energy by chasing prey, the anglerfish remains motionless, conserving energy in an environment where movement is costly. Extending from its head is a small bioluminescent lure created by symbiotic bacteria, producing a faint glow that does not illuminate the surroundings but instead draws curious creatures closer. When prey drifts within range, the strike is instantaneous, leaving no chance of escape, a method perfectly suited to Greenland's dark, frigid waters. Even more unusual is the reproductive behavior of the species. Males are far smaller than females, and upon locating a mate, permanently attach themselves to her body. Over time, the male fuses with the female and becomes little more than reproductive tissue, resulting in a single body sustaining two individuals. In late October 2025, a short video circulated rapidly across social media platforms, showing what seemed to be a giant crab emerging from shallow coastal waters near Greenland. According to the accompanying caption, the footage was recorded on October 30 near Nuuk, Greenland's capital, by a person believed to be a local visitor standing on low rocks close to the shoreline. As the camera zooms closer, a crab of unusual size, which seemed far larger than the crabs typically observed along the shore. After the clip went viral, many speculated that the creatures could be king crabs, a large species known to inhabit cold Arctic waters. However, the scale suggested by the footage raised questions. No official statement or scientific confirmation followed, and the video offered no reliable object for scale comparison. Even so, for many living along Greenland's coast, the footage reinforced a long-held belief that these cold waters continue to harbor creatures rarely encountered by humans, occasionally revealing themselves just long enough to capture global attention. This is the kind of creature that prompts an immediate, unsettling question upon first encounter. The giant sea spider inhabits cold waters such as those surrounding Greenland, and although it is not a true spider, its form is so unusual that it often evokes comparisons to alien life. While sea spiders in warmer seas remain relatively small, their Arctic relatives grow to extreme proportions, developing long, spindly legs that stretch outward from a body so small it appears to function merely as a joint connecting delicate limbs. Their biology only deepens the sense of strangeness, as giant sea spiders possess neither a heart nor lungs in the conventional sense, instead absorbing oxygen directly through their skin and legs. What makes these creatures especially unsettling is not their size alone, but the impression that they operate entirely independent of human awareness, existing as though humanity never appeared at all. Off the eastern coast of Greenland, local fishermen have long spoken quietly about a creature they call a giant dragon, described as tens of meters long, with a serpent-like body and a reptilian head that surfaces only briefly before vanishing. One account is often cited as the most disturbing. On September 3, 2018, the fishing vessel Helena's Pride left port with 15 crew members under calm conditions. At 9:47 a.m., a coastal station received an 11-second distress signal, capturing the sound of violently rising water, followed by screams and sudden silence. When rescue teams arrived, they found only debris scattered in a rough circle, with blood-stained water and no bodies recovered. A diver sent to investigate reportedly recorded a massive head emerging from the freezing depths, covered in gray-blue scales and marked by an elongated, prehistoric-looking skull. When the creature opened its mouth, human limbs and orange life vests were said to be lodged between long, serrated teeth. After briefly looking upward, it submerged again and disappeared. According to the account, naval forces later destroyed the creature, and examination allegedly revealed older human bones and personal items connected to a Soviet fishing vessel that vanished in 1987, suggesting repeated attacks over decades. The story concludes with claims that sonar and underwater drones later detected multiple similar signals beneath the Arctic Ocean. For many in Greenland, such reports reinforce the belief that these waters have never been empty, but instead home to vast elusive predators that remain largely unseen. Among all whale species, beaked whales remain some of the most puzzling to scientists, and the waters around Greenland are among the few regions where they have been reliably recorded. Unlike more familiar whales, beaked whales are characterized by long beaks, slender bodies, and behavior so elusive that direct observation is exceptionally rare. Their most striking characteristic is their extraordinary diving ability, as some species are capable of descending beyond 6,000 feet, holding their breath for more than an hour, and returning to the surface without leaving visible signs of their passage. Many species of beaked whales are known primarily from stranded carcasses, with little visual documentation of their hunting habits or social behavior. When alive, they remain almost unseen, navigating the deep ocean through echolocation in total darkness, where light does not penetrate, and only pressure, cold, and silence exist. Researchers suggest that beaked whales live in very small groups and actively avoid noisy environments, a hypothesis supported by evidence linking mass strandings to exposure to military sonar. This apparent sensitivity of their nervous systems raises a broader and unsettling question about how long these whales have lived in the depths of the ocean, largely undisturbed by human activity, and how much of their existence remains beyond human understanding. Among the names Greenlandic fishermen hesitate to speak aloud, Leviathan holds a singular place. It is not described as any known marine animal, but as something too vast to classify, revealing itself only under rare and unsettling conditions. Some captains report seeing a massive back stretching so far it resembled drifting ice, yet moving steadily against the current. Historical records from the 18th and 19th centuries describe fishing boats near Greenland suddenly tilting, as though lifted from below by an unseen force. There were no collisions, no ice, and no damage afterward, yet crews consistently reported the sensation of something alive moving beneath the hull. In local legend, Leviathan is not a violent hunter, but an ancient being that sleeps beneath the Arctic Ocean, surfacing only when disturbed or when powerful currents shift. Some attribute immense, unexplained sonar shadows in Greenland's deep waters to this presence. Although no scientific evidence confirms Leviathan's existence, centuries of similar reports remain unexplained, leaving it as an enduring question and seas humans scarcely understand. Do you think the centuries of similar reports point to a real, unknown presence beneath Greenland's waters? Let's discuss in the comments section, and be sure to explore even more fascinating things located in the top right corner. Legends aside, the ice doesn't only hide giants. Sometimes it conceals entire ecosystems we never believed could exist. In January 2015, a team of scientists working on the Willands Ice Stream Subglacial Access Research Drilling Project conducted a major exploration of the subice environment at the grounding zone of the Ross Ice Shelf, where the West Antarctic ice sheet meets the ocean. Using a specially designed clean hot water drill, the team bored through nearly a half-mile of ice to reach the subice cavity at the grounding zone. Rather than barren conditions, researchers observed a surprisingly diverse array of life. Fish, amphipods, jellyfish, and other invertebrates were recorded swimming in the frigid dark waters beneath the ice shelf. These sightings represented some of the southernmost observations of fish ever documented, and challenged assumptions that such extreme environments could support only microbial life. The discovery of these organisms was notable not just for confirming their presence, but for providing the first visual and ecological evidence of a complex ecosystem existing in conditions of perpetual darkness, near freezing temperatures, and under immense overlying ice. These discoveries have reshaped scientific understanding of sub-ice ecosystems in Antarctica, and provided important insights into the adaptability of life in extreme conditions, with implications for fields ranging from marine biology to astrobiology. As ice retreats, it doesn't just reveal living creatures, it exposes echoes of oceans that vanished millions of years ago. Researchers uncovered a remarkable concentration of 46 nearly complete ichthyosaur fossils near the Tyndall Glacier in Torres del Paine National Park, southern Chile, representing multiple species and life stages, including pregnant females and embryos. These marine reptiles, often called fish lizards, lived during the early Cretaceous period, around 146 million years ago, and their exceptional preservation places the site among the most significant fossil localities for marine reptiles in South America. The fossils occur in sedimentary rocks associated with deep-water deposits, and scientists interpret the mass accumulation as the result of turbidity currents and high-energy sediment flows that transported and buried these animals in submarine environments. Some soft tissues and embryos are preserved, providing valuable insights into ichthyosaur biology and reproduction. Fossils are continuously being revealed as the glacier retreats. The crash of the U.S. Air Force C-124 Globemaster II on Mount Gannett in Alaska stands as a stark example of how glaciers can conceal and preserve history. On November 23, 1952, the aircraft was flying from McChord Air Force Base in Washington to Elmendorf Air Force Base near Anchorage when it encountered severe weather and low visibility while crossing the Chugach Mountains. The plane struck Mount Gannett at high altitude, killing all 52 people on board. Although portions of the wreckage were located soon after the crash, heavy snowfall, avalanches, and unstable ice made recovery impossible, and the site was eventually buried and abandoned. For decades, the glacier slowly carried the wreckage downhill. In June 2012, an Alaska Army National Guard helicopter crew spotted bright yellow debris on Colony Glacier, about 14 miles from the original crash site. Identified as the aircraft's survival raft, the discovery led to Operation Colony Glacier, a long-term recovery effort that resulted in the retrieval of additional wreckage, personal effects, and human remains, allowing many victims to be identified decades later. Allen Hill's 84001 is a Martian meteorite discovered on December 27, 1984, in Antarctica by a team from the Antarctic Search for Meteorites project. It weighs about 1.93 kg and formed on Mars over 4 billion years ago. Scientists gained worldwide attention in 1996 when microscopic structures and chemical features in the rock were interpreted by a NASA-led team as possible fossil remnants of ancient Martian microbes, but this claim was widely debated and has not been supported as conclusive evidence of life. Although ALH 84001 contains complex minerals and organic-rich carbonates, later studies have shown that many of the features initially linked to biology can be explained by non-biological geological processes, and the original life claim remains unproven. In July 1897, Swedish explorer Salomon August Andrée and companions Niels Strindberg and Knut Frankel launched a hydrogen balloon from Svalbard in an attempt to reach the North Pole. The expedition was controversial, as many experts doubted the feasibility of controlled balloon navigation in Arctic winds. After a brief flight during which the balloon lost lift, the team was forced to land on drifting sea ice. They then attempted to travel over the ice toward land, but eventually reached Kvituya, an island in the Svalbard archipelago, where they died months later. Their remains and much of their equipment, including photographic negatives, were discovered in 1930, revealing detailed records of their final journey. The discovery of dinosaur fossils in Antarctica has transformed scientific understanding of the continent's ancient history and its role in prehistoric ecosystems. From the late 20th century onward, fieldwork on James Ross Island and nearby areas of the Antarctic Peninsula revealed sedimentary rocks preserving dinosaurs from the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. One of the most important finds was Antarctopelta oliveroi, an armored ankylosaur identified from fossils collected in 1986 by Argentine geologists Eduardo Olivero and Roberto Scasso. Other discoveries include hadrosaur remains, the large carnivorous theropod Cryolophosaurus, and the long-necked herbivore Glacialosaurus, indicating that Antarctica once supported a diverse dinosaur community. These fossils are usually recovered from exposed rock rather than ice, as wind erosion and retreating glaciers gradually reveal layers formed when Antarctica was part of the southern supercontinent Gondwana. During the age of dinosaurs, the continent lay farther north and had a much warmer climate, with forests, rivers, and seasonal light instead of permanent ice. Although most finds consist of partial skeletons and fragmented bones, they provide valuable insight into how dinosaurs adapted to high-latitude environments, showing how dramatically Earth's climate and geography have changed since that time. Beneath the ice and stone lie creatures that defy biology, legends that blur into history, and discoveries that surface only when the frozen Earth decides to release them. Some of what we've seen is proven science. Some remains disputed, and some may never be fully explained. As the ice slowly retreats, it does not just reveal the past, it challenges our understanding of what still exists today. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming journeys. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.